A trampoline is a good example of elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy is the energy that is stored when an object stretches and contracts. Elastic potential energy depends upon the spring constant K and the distance x it stretches. It is equal to the work done to the stretch and spring. The equation for elastic potential energy is 1/2 kx squared.
The batter is trying to gain as much energy as possible in order to hit the ball further. He is trying to put a lot of work into increasing the energy when he bats. This is why he twists his whole body and plants his legs so he can put more force into the swing. The swing does not have as much force as the second does. This is why the second swing is able to hit the bar at an angle closer to 45 degrees. The second swing will have the ball go a longer distance. The equation for work is the force times the distance.
Blair Walsh missed this kick in the playoffs, which sent the Vikings packing for the second straight year. The reason he misses it relies on several factors. The first factor is the air resistance and winds applied to a force on the ball that pushed the ball wide left. The second factor is that Blair Walsh did not kick the ball in its center of mass. Since the laces were in, it affected the projectile motion of the ball, which also contributed to the ball being pushed left. The influence of gravity brought the ball back down to the earth, as it always does, but Blair was unable to make the field goal.
The pole vaulter has kinetic energy during the running start. This energy is converted to elastic potential energy as the pole vaulter plants the pole and begins to spring upwards. The elastic potential energy is converted into gravitational energy at the top of the arc path of the pole vaulter. As the pole vaulter travels down the path, the gravitational potential energy is transformed into kinetic energy until it hits the ground. Gravitational potential energy can be found by multiplying the mass times the gravity constant, which on Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared, and the height together.
The kicker is able to maximize his kick by trying to kick the ball at an angle close to 45 degrees. The ball went a horizontal distance of around 65 to 70 yards and resulted in a touchback due to the precise angle of the kick. Once again, projectile motion relies on the angle of gravity and other factors like air resistance. Air resistance and wind were considerably lower during this kick due to the fact that game is being.
This video shows a football player being tackled in the end zone. The concept of tackling is based on the notion of canceling out one person's force. The forces were unbalanced while he was running, according to Newton's first law of motion. Newton's third law of motion comes into play here as well, because there's an equal and opposite force. Law of inertia states that unless acted upon by an external force, an object at rest will remain at rest or in motion if it continues in a straight line with a constant speed. The total momentum between the two players will remain the same even after the hit, as stated by the law of conservation of momentum.
Nice, Connor. You did. When swimmers dive in and begin their swim, their gravitational potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is retained until the swimmers reach the end of the pool. Kinetic energy can be measured using the equation 1/2 the mass, or m, times the velocity, v, squared. When they reach the end and stop moving, the kinetic energy is transformed back into potential energy.
In this example, I am wearing spikes on my shoes. The spikes are important for maintaining higher levels of friction between the ground and my shoe. This increase in friction allows me to plant my feet into the ground and allow me to more efficiently push off the ground. That is important in maintaining efficient running form and maximizing your frictional force with the ground.